So today on this video, I want to talk about how to update your existing reservation pages to make them more modern, easier to use, and use a lot of our new features that we've quickly been rolling out. There's been a lot of changes pretty quickly, so it's hard to keep up with it all, but let's try to review some of it in this video and show how to update your existing pages to make them look a lot more modern. So here is an existing client of ours with a nice looking page. Let's look at it. But note that it looks old style, just, not very polished compared to the new look. One thing that actually was going to make a whole video on just specifically here was this calendar system. For years, I've wanted to make it so that there was just one date picker for both check-in and check-out. Here you'll see that there's actually two. First, you set the check-in date, and then it automatically goes to one date ahead, but a lot of times that's not what somebody's looking for, so you're going to have to select check-out and then select your actual date, and then it does a search. So if this user wanted to stay with their existing theme but use our new calendar system, that is possible. All you need to do is go to your themes, edit the theme that you've been using, and most users have custom themes at that point, and just add a little bit of code here at the top. So this first line, use modern picker, that is a trigger to the system to use the new date picker. And I'll show you that in just a second here. And then we also have a way to customize the primary and secondary colors of that date picker as well. And those are that extra CSS that gets added. But let's just save that. Now when we go back and refresh the calendar page here and click the calendar, you'll see now the brand new widget style opens up. It's really simple, clean, can forward multiple dates at once. So let's say we're looking to book for July 4th weekend. We will click 3rd, and then now the nice thing is you can click the checkout date on this just by dragging or mousing over. And then that automatically fills in check-in and check-out and does a search at the same time. And as soon as that comes up, we will also look at changing some of these colors. So it looks like there was no vacancy on those dates. Let's just try a little bit different search. Okay, we found some vacancy. I'm going to go into the developer tools, and this isn't a great example because there's not a lot of color on this site, but let's see if we can just, these colors really honestly almost work already, but let's take, say, this gray color there. Just do the inspector. We'll copy that color. Then back in the theme, we can do the primary color. We'll paste that in. And then we also need a lighter color, which we could take maybe one of the light blues from the photo, just like that, and paste that in as the light color. Save. And now when we refresh this calendar, you'll see that it's using that light blue and it's using the gray from the button. So it's just a nice quick way to customize it a little bit. One other thing, if we make this page a lot narrower, as if it were on a phone, we'll see that now the calendar is vertical and it's scrollable for up to 2 years in advance. Which is really much faster to select dates. Now let's talk about possibly updating this whole site to use one of our newer themes. The user still might want to use this background color, or image, which we could do. Let's just have a look here. So the background image right now is set to this. So I'm going to possibly just copy this whole section. But before I decide which theme to use, let's go into the reservation page and just select a new theme directly there, and then we'll decide what to customize. So white bee is what we've been using. All of our new themes that should be up here at the top. So modern default, let's take a quick look at that. I know we already had a video about the theme, so I'm not going to go through all of them. So let's just refresh that. So that uses the modern default. I would say probably the warm or nature. Let's go with nature, I think, in this case. Probably better matches the type of property that they have. Yeah, I'm going to go with the nature theme. It is looking a little messy, a few of these things. I think in this case, they have multiple rates set up, but there possibly are not multiple rates in the system, so we can clean that up. But or maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I suppose that looks okay. Let's try just one other theme to see if it changes any different. A little bit different because of the multiple rate plans, but we are continuing to improve these themes to handle all the situations, but it looks pretty good. Also, this color we've changed a lot. The background color, this pink color isn't really ideal. But I'll show that in just a second. I think we'll stick with the nature theme. So now to add that background, we can add the theme, and this way we can customize it. So we'll go into nature outdoor. It's already using the modern picker. It already has all the colors set up. You can change the split, but we'll keep the standard there. The only thing we need to add probably is that background image. So I'm going to just give it a try by pasting in exactly what we had from the old theme and see if that works. And then select our reservation page to use it on and click save. Now we go back and click refresh. Let's see. Does not look like it fully worked. Another trick is to put it at the very bottom of the theme. So let's try that. And if that doesn't work, we have one more trick we can try. Click save. Okay, so that worked. And I think that actually is pretty good. Only thing that we really don't need is this property section, which is right here. Just trying to make sure that we select the right section. So that's property table. We can also look at our calendar search mode. We also are not using it there as well. So I believe we can just fully remove that. And to do that, all we need to do is set it to none. But just before I do that, show property table. Yeah, we had a display up here. We had a toggle here to make it easy. So just change that to none. And that should hide that property table. My only question is whether it hides the whole grid, but no, it did not. So that worked out perfectly. And our new modern date picker still works, even with the one date at a time. And if we go back to our main page, it's looking pretty good as well. We got rid of that extra unused property table at the top by setting display to none. I think we're pretty much where we want to be on updating this theme. Well, let's see, we had one other option. That's to change this color of the required field. One thing we've been changing is more to a slate color. So let's look at the color here and try to figure out what a slate color is. I'm going to go with something along those lines. I think that looks nicer. And we'll just do that. And now all we have to do is sample that. Click to copy. Go back into the reservation page. And in the form, we can just edit that color in the required field color setting. Actually, we can leave that pound sign. That's fine. Click Save Changes. And now we will be click reserve. And now the color definitely looks a lot nicer. One other point just while we're here is we have really improved our error checking. So as soon as you start typing, the error checking for required fields gets cleared. So that should work a lot better. You see how that all works very nicely. Same with the clicking the required field. Gets cleared as soon as it gets clicked. Another option, since we're talking about how to improve the look and feel for existing reservation pages, you might want to consider how you link to the reservation page. So if we go to this website, let's just see what they're doing currently. So they have a Book Now button, which opens up the system in an iframe. And that's our new theme. You can see it looks pretty good there. It doesn't really match the orange color at all, but I didn't realize they were using an iframe, but that's okay. One question I'm having here is why it's doing that. That might be because of international date formatting is different than what we're expecting. And if that's the case, I'm going to turn this off until we can fix that, but I'll have to take a look at that. But while we're talking about linking to the page, another option that we have is having the whole thing come up in a nice drawer overlay. And so you click Book Now and it opens up an overlay. And to demonstrate that, we can go back into the reservation page settings and click linking to this page. So we've reorganized all of this. And one brand new way is this modern embed. And we can quickly preview that just by clicking preview, and you'll see the drawer that slides out. So just imagine this drawer sliding out over their website. To close it, you click the X. And then to add this to the website, they would just need to copy this code and add it into their header section. We'll make a separate video going over this embed in detail. But it's definitely a nice new way, modern way to include the website, the booking engine on a website. So instead of going into the iframe, we could do it the other way. Let's see. And we also did set up a new demo of how that works. Just I'll open that real quick. It's under on our website. We just added this link. So here's our demo bed and breakfast. So you can either have it compact, so it opens up in a narrow column right over your website. And the current website stays visible in the background. Or you can have full width, which opens up a bigger window. And then once you select the room, it goes down into the two 2 columns. All right, I'm not going to go over this a whole lot more detail here because I do want to make a separate video just to cover that. And of course, if the user wants to continue, they can just switch back to the theme that they were previously using, which was this white bee. And I think I'm going to leave their account on that for now, just because we didn't get a chance yet to talk with the user if this is really something they want to do. But hopefully after seeing this video, they may be interested in switching. And there's a good example of what the old style looks like versus the new style. And of course, I should take off that modern picker. I'm just going to add a little bit of text in there so that it doesn't get picked up. But in case they want to turn it back on, it's easy to do. They can just remove that line. So if we refresh once more. Yeah, exactly. So in this case, they're using day, month, year, and our modern picker doesn't look like it's currently supporting that perfect, but that will be an easy fix. And probably by the time you see this video, that will be fixed. Anyhow, I'm going to leave the video where we're at here, and hopefully this has been helpful, and we will see you in the next one.